handsome. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to yet another edition of our podcast, A Not So Quiet Place. My name is Pamela Mvuyana, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us in for yet another edition of our podcast. I would like to quickly add a disclaimer before we move on. I know that we had said that we're going to do the topic of sexuality in our previous episode, but given light of recent events, we have decided to not do the topic because we do not want to have comments that are insensitive to other people. So we have decided that until we further understand the topic and we can actually give insightful comments, we will not do the topic for now. So moving forward, Sfundo, how are you?
Hi Pam, how are you?
I am all good.
I am also good. Welcome back to another episode, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in on the last episode. We really appreciate your views, your comments on the topic of identity, and we really had a good time actually reading your replies and actually feeling how you guys actually felt about the whole podcast. And today we bring you another episode, which is Freindships.
All right, so today, as Fundo said, we're going to be discussing the topic of friendships. Your friends, my friends, better than your friends. So Fundo, how many friends do you still have? Like, I'm curious to know. Like, is your circle small or is your circle big? Or you don't have a circle at all, child, it's just you.
Now my circle has shrunk. When you look at the past 4 years, it was big because I was in varsity at that time, but now it's a small circle now. Hey, I think things change with as you leave varsity and you go out into the world to be employed, and I feel like that has changed. So now you find yourself where your circle gets smaller because there are people that you realize that, I was just hanging out with them in varsity. We weren't really that close. We weren't really friends. So my circle is very small now. It's a tight circle. It's a tight circle. You?
It's funny. Yes, it's very funny that you say that, because you realize no, we're only hanging out just because we're in an environment that forced us to hang out. We weren't really friends like that.
Yeah.
It's like, Jade, it's just a situation, circumstance basically. So with my friends, I think obviously my circle has gotten smaller. I used to be someone who has a lot of friends, but now my immediate circle is very much smaller. But now I just prefer to have relationships, get relationships with people, like create relationships with people instead of friendships, because I do have friends. Now it's just more relationship thing to me, and to be strategical about those relationships. I'm not just going to be relationshiping with anybody out there. I mean, I have to, when I'm making those relationships with people, it needs to make sense to me and to my life and to where I'm going with it. And with that being said, what would you say defines a friendship for you? Because I was looking at the dictionary definition, and they were saying that a friendship is someone who you have a bond of mutual affection, typically one exclusive of sexual or family relations. So no friends with benefits, none of that. Yay, none of that. What would you say defines a friend for you?
A friendship for me, I would say it is defined by, we have one thing which is like a common interest that sort of creates the foundation that allows you to build a friendship with that person. So like if that one common interest between you is both of you are very passionate about, I think the chances of you becoming good friends in a long time is actually pretty good, I would say. Because for me, saying that, I'm looking at the friendships that I currently have right now, and the people that I currently regard as friends, regard as people that I can always go to and talk to about this and talk to about anything I want to talk to about. Yeah, so that's what I would say defines a friendship. That's like for me, that's like the most important thing, a common interest. And then from there, we can build something. I know that.
It's funny that you say a common interest, because sometimes you can have a common interest with somebody and still not be friends. I don't know if you've seen that happening.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You literally have groups of people who have a common interest of them liking anime, of them liking umaskand, whatever the case may be, but they're still not friends if you take them out of that context. But at the same time, friendships don't happen if you don't have a common interest. So it's very,
It's a I would say it's a tricky situation, but I wouldn't define it as a tricky situation. But as you have said, there's like people that you hang out with, and also in a group, especially like university, you find yourself, we're all hanging out in a group, and then from that group there's only like a selected few people that you would consider friends. So it comes down to the dynamics of there are people that I can hang out with, but they are not really, I wouldn't consider them as like close friends or like people that I would fit into my small circle of friends. And then there's people in that same group that I do consider as friends that fit towards the small circle that I have, that I would say these are my friends. This is the friendships that I truly adore, that I truly love and appreciate having. These are my bros, bro.
These are my bros.
Yeah.
That's a guy saying broski. I'm pleased.
Exactly. Yeah. Would you say friends are people that you create a family with? I would say your chosen family.
I would definitely say that they're my chosen family, because you can't choose family, it's genetic. If we could, the world would be very, very different. But friends are definitely your chosen family for me, and that also defines friendship for me in a way, that friends is like, they're the family that I choose, and I choose them based on beliefs, based on our values, based on our morals, and based on, I think that beliefs, values, and morals are very important to me, because I can't be friends with somebody who doesn't share the same, how do I put it, not doesn't share the same beliefs, but who doesn't share the same thought process of things. For example, I can't be friends with somebody who, if we see somebody who is in need, who's in need.
Yes.
We need to share the same essence. We need to share that we can have different belief systems. That's that's a given. We're going to be different as people, but let's, at the core, at the base of us, let's share the same kindness, the same compassion, the same understanding, the same drive. I need to have friends with drive. I need to have friends with ambition, friends that I look at and I'm like, oh, okay, you're applying pressure. Oh, this is what you're doing this year? Okay, we're stepping up our game. And for me, that's what friendship is now. But granted, when I was a baby, friendship just meant, if I can play with you, Makalop, and you're the best in the team, well, you're my friend now, because we need to win this, okay? It's ours. And you're going to be my friend because of that. But the older I grow, it's more of a relationship. As you said, it's more of a bond. It's more of a common interest, our values and our beliefs. So I think that defines friendships for me. And friendships teach you a lot. They do teach you a lot about yourself. And what have you learned from your previous friendships, since they teach so much?
Wow, that's I've never thought about it, but I know I've learned something. A thing or two. I'm sure I have.
Somewhere along those lines,
Maybe I've learned to be a bit more picky about who I choose in terms of like calling close friends.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and also I think also the same thing is trusting. I think that's one thing I've learned more, that there's just certain people whom you meet, and then when you become friends with them, it's easy for you guys to trust each other. It's easy for you to be able to hold them accountable for certain things that keeps our friendship tight, you know? Like, for example, if I borrow you something, I expect you to handle
it with care.
Yeah, to handle it with care.
Bring it back,
as if it's yours, and bring it back at the right time that you said you would bring it back. Because I feel like honoring those little things when it comes to friendship, that is very important to me. And now I'm at that point where I'm so conscious of it. Like, someone, like a friend would do something for me, maybe that it's not really a big thing, but then I would have so much appreciation for that thing. I'll be like, wow, he actually came through and did this for me. Like, he is literally here because I asked him for something. For me, that raises a certain amount of compassion that I feel like holds that bond, and it keeps that bond between friendships. And for me, once I feel like that about someone, I will always be there for you as a friend. I will always, like, you ask me to show up for that, I will show up for that.
Because you don't owe me anything.
Yeah.
But you did it.
Yeah.
And you did it above and beyond. You didn't just do it.
You know? Exactly. For me, I feel like that's one thing I've learned more. I've learned to appreciate people who do actions that show that they truly appreciate our friendship, that they truly that they truly appreciate me as a person being around them, you know. So I would say, yeah, that's what I've learned more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And from my side, what have I learned from my previous friendships? Wow, I could go on for days. I could go on for days about the things that I've learned from my previous friendships. But more than anything, having friends who I could go over to their house and see how they interact with their parents, how they interact with their family, has taught me so much about myself, things that I have lacked and things that I need to work on and things that I didn't know. Because I'm the last born. I don't need to take care of anybody because I'm the one who's supposed to be taken care of. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But having friends who are the firstborns, I go to their houses and I see how much they take care of their brothers, how much they take care of their sisters. It actually made me learn that I also need to do a better job of taking care of those behind me. My cousins, who I consider my sisters, my brothers, who are also cousins, who I consider as my brothers again. So that has taught me so much. Just watching them interact, how they interact with their parents, teaches me how I should also interact with other adults, you know. So I've learned a lot of that from my friends and from friendship. And friendship has taught me that there are genuinely people out there who will never give up on you and who will continue to pour into you. Even if you do have bad times, there will be times when you and your friend don't get along and maybe you guys have a falling out and things aren't as cute as they should be, you know? You know? But those people love you so much. And the thing is, they don't owe it to you. They're not tied to you. They're not related to you. It's not like you have to be like, hey, Gonja, I'm your brother, so you know I need to, hey, Gonja. But they will still wake up each and every single day and say, today, okay, I'm choosing you as my friend and I'm going to pour into you. I'm going to help you grow. I'm going to, if you don't have money, give you money and say, it's cool. I had so many of those situations during lockdown where I was down and out and my friends were like, we got you. And that's me. Whoa.
And that's a sensitive topic, especially money and friendships, you know. That's one thing I've learned. Like, you can't trust everyone. Like, especially with friends, some, they would say, borrow me money. And like, ooh.
But why do you have friends like that? that? That's always my question because I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm at that point now where I don't have friends like that because I've realized that there's just certain people that are not really friends. They just there because they will always ask you for favors. They would always they know your goodness, so they know that I can always ask him for this. And I'll ghost him after that. So I'm like, nah, bro, you're not my friend. I see you too, you're not my friend. So yeah, I think that's what makes your circle smaller.
Oh, okay, I got it. Because for me, this is the thing. I always hear people complaining about their friends. Their friends took their money and never came back with it. Their friends stole their boyfriend, whatever the case may be. And because, I don't know, maybe I've been so blessed in terms of friendships, that I would sit and I think, guys, who are these people that you're befriending? Or like, is there something wrong with you that you can't discern that this person is a bit weird?
Yeah. So do you think friendships and business mix? Do you think those work?
Friendships and business, I would say they do and they don't, because I was also reading up on that and I saw that Apple was started by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah,
those are two friends. They started as friends. Google was started by friends. Twitter was started by friends. I even have friends that started a company. It's called Esokala Maintenance, and they do plumbing and maintenance and installations and all those type of things. And they started because they're friends and it's booming and it's working. So I think it depends on the friendship and on the dynamic and what you bring to the table. We can't just say we're two cute girls and we're going to start a business, but then when it comes to actual business, we have nothing to bring to the table. All we have is maybe our creativity. When in a business, you're going to need people who are analytical. You're going to need the people who are creative. You're going to need the people who are going to do the admin. You're going to need the person who's disciplined more than the other, or two disciplined people. So I think it also it depends. Sometimes you can mix business and pleasure and it works out. Sometimes you cannot, and we've seen so many instances of cannot. For you?
So first of all, what I'm getting from you is that in order for them to actually work out the friendship and the business side, it would have to be like they both present something which is very valuable in terms of what that business requires, the skills that business requires. So if I have a certain skill and you also have a certain skill that makes our skills look better together. So that's good ground for building a business with a friend, I would say. For me, I think they work. I wouldn't say businesses, I would say collaboration. For me, collaboration, especially I think because there's just sometimes there may be certain things that like, say for example, an industry like an industry such as filmmaking, especially that industry, it works as a collaborative thing because you find that I might bring a skill of being an editor, someone might bring a skill of being a good camera person. So we are able to create a film together by bringing together those skills. And that's one thing that I've learned so much when it comes to television, is that it's all about collaboration. So I really like the idea of collaborating with my friends who actually know what they're doing, because they sort of
know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they bring a different
know what they're doing.
They bring a different perspective that makes me also look at it and be like, oh, okay, I see that. And I feel like also that's a very important thing, that like to have friends who give you a different perspective compared to how you see the world. Because sometimes the way we see the world sort of blinds us to in terms of what else is happening outside what we what we used to. So I feel like it helps having friends who have also different perspective, as I've said.
So when you say collaboration, do you mean collaboration in the sense of I have a business, you have a business, let's work together? My own registered company that I went to SARS and opened it myself, and your own registered company that you went to SARS and opened it yourself. Do you mean in that sense?
It is in that sense, but there's also this thing that is called a collective. So if I like maybe a bunch of friends get together and they all have different skills, so they put themselves under this one umbrella and they call it a collective. So if I get work from a client, I'm able to plug in my friend and say, oh, if you need sound, I know a guy will do sound.
Okay,
if you need a graphic design, oh, I have a friend who does a graphic design. So that way, I think it's business and friendship that way.
It is.
So now everyone, we're all working together, we're all making money together, but we also keep our friendships, you know? And it creates that feeling of accountability across everyone. Because see, if you're my friend and I'm recommending you to do work to someone, then clearly I trust you enough that you know your work. Other than you know your work, you are also a person that I can say is honest, and they are always accountable about what they do. Yeah.
And with that, with the collaboration aspect, if I'm going to refer you, it's because you're good.
Yes.
And that makes forces you to keep a standard. Because if I'm referring you and recommending you, and then you don't do well, that's bad on me.
That's bad on me.
And that's bad on our friendship, because I'm going to go back to you and be like, how? And then what happened?
Yeah.
Now we've lost so many deals because we don't know who that person is affiliated with, who could have brought us more customers, more clients, whatever the case may be. So, okay, I like the collaboration aspect, but I also do believe in friends starting a business, because as friends, you really know one another.
Yeah.
You really know one another, the ins and the outs. You know somebody's weaknesses, you know somebody's strengths, you know somebody's connections, you know somebody's network, you know all those kind of things, and you know exactly what you need to put together this. So with that being said, that was actually very interesting. With that being said, can the kind of friends you have make or break you, do you think?
I think it's possible. I've had friends like in varsity, or like, I've had friends in varsity where I felt like they would do certain things and I would feel like, okay, now this is just something that really just creates that thing that, okay, I need to get away. I need to break our friendship up, because I feel like, okay, now you're just doing something which is way out of character in terms of what our relationship is. You're doing something that doesn't feel like it's something I stand for, you know. So once that happens for me, it made me think, okay, nah, that person, no, they were not really my friends. They were, I would say, for me, that's a make or break thing. I would say, yeah. I'm not sure if I'm answering that correctly.
I think you're on the right path. You're on the right track. You're on the right path.
I don't know, hey?
You're on the right path. But for me, to answer it in a different way, I would say your friends can make or break you. And I remember as a child, you'd always have your parents like shouting you or scream at you if you bought a friend that looked very sketchy to them. They'd be like, what are you doing with so-and-so? And at that time, being a child, you didn't understand that you are the sum of the people you hang around with. So if your friend, let's say, comes from a background, but is a person who, where they come from, they can do whatever they want. They don't have a curfew. I had a curfew growing up. I was that child at the burglar guards looking at everybody playing in the streets, and everybody else didn't have a curfew. And if your friend doesn't have a curfew, they will convince you that, oh no, your parents, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Come out with us. And then that immediately in your head, it starts a cycle. It starts to cycle within your head that I don't need to listen to that person.
Yeah.
Then you start not doing things that you're supposed to do, and it leads to this and leads to that, and leads to this and leads to that. So your friends can make or break you because they have a huge influence on your life, and a huger influence than anybody else. Like your friends, they have the biggest influence. So it's so important for you to discern the people that you have in your life and see, why do I have these people in my life again? How am I benefiting from here?
Yeah.
How am I growing from here? Because I've seen people that had it not been for their friend, they wouldn't be drug addicts. Honestly. They wouldn't be, and they proper drug addicts.
True.
Like
that's
the Rigby and Mordecai situation. You know, like they wouldn't be drug addicts because of their friends. I have people who complain. They'll be like, I don't like going out every weekend anymore, but my friends call me up all the time, and sometimes I have to switch off my phone. What kind of friends are those?
So maybe that's the signal that tells you maybe you've outgrown that friendship. Don't you think so?
True. It is a signal as well. It is a signal as well, but some people don't listen to that signal. And this is my friend, you know, they're gonna think I'm better now, I'm gonna send them auto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you stay with them, and then next thing, you crash that very same car that you bought. Because you went out on a night out and you don't want to drink and drive, but then it's my homies.
Find yourself drink,
you know.
Yeah.
And then so because of situations like that, I've seen so many people just go on a different path because of the friends that they have, and they thought they were friends. Because I believe real friends, they're just some things that they would never allow you to do, ever allow you to do.
Hey.
And that's why they say sometimes your best friends should be your relatives.
Yeah.
So like for you, have you found friendship at home? Is there like a sibling that you've had that it's bigger than siblings, it's bigger than relatives, you friends, like that's my homie type of vibe. Do you have that?
Yeah, I would say I have that, and I feel like that's one thing that you rarely find at home, man. Sometimes it's a rare thing to find at home, but yeah, I do have like a cousin who I consider like a best friend, you know, because I can honestly speak to him about everything, and not only just everything, but we always look out for each other. It's not just it's a brotherhood. It's a real brotherhood that I always feel like I truly appreciate it, because it's not just a relationship where he annoys me all the time. We both annoy each other, but also when it gets serious, we are also there for each other. So I think that's very important, and I think if you find that at home, then you are straight.
You're good. You don't need anything else.
Yeah. And you?
For me, I would firstly like to say with that, it's so important because have you ever noticed there's some things that happen in your life that you can't really share with outsiders because they will look at you very different.
Yeah.
That, these are the things that are going on in your, you know, you can't really share those things. But then if you have like a relative, like a sister, a cousin, a brother who is your friend first, that you can really talk about those things, it just makes it that much easier. And to answer that, yes, I have like my big sister who's way older than me, very different from me. We like different things, but the way we get along, we have such an amazing like relationship with my big sister, and she has worked. She was the one who worked for us to get to that point. She was the one who always used to say, I remember as a kid, she'd always bring out the Drum magazine, and at that time there was Okelu Kumala and Kelly Kumala's sister, and she'd always be like, I want us to be like them, because they used to get along so much.
Right. Yeah.
So she really did try, and we have such an amazing relationship. I mean, Without my big sister, I don't think I'd be half the person that I am. And she's not just a sister, she's my friend. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Especially an older, relative. And then my two other cousins, those are my homies. Those are my friends.
Yeah.
And we'll go back to the fact that there's some things you just can't discuss with outsiders like that, or things that they won't really understand because they weren't there when it was happening. So having a cousin, a sister who's also a friend, I can talk about that, and that's rare.
Yeah.
Family wise, some people they live with people they don't even know them.
That is true when it comes to home, eh? That's very true. Okay.
It's rare, and I think we take those relationships for granted so much. I think we take them for granted so much, and we don't nurture them as much as we should. We do not nurture them as much as we should. I think we should do a better job at that. And with that nurturing aspect, what about your current friends makes you treasure and nurture the friendships and the relationships even more?
I would say for me it's the simple things that makes our friendship, being able to pick up the phone and call you and know that you will always pick up. If you don't, you will let me know, like I'll call you, and then you actually do call me back. I think for me it's those simple interactions that, as much as we are all busy trying to build lives for ourselves, we can still keep in contact and be like, yo, how you been, like a simple thing. I feel like a simple thing where someone asks you, how are you? It's it's very big. It's very big because we are all going through our own stuff, We stay way too much in our heads. Every now and then we do need someone to remind us that there's love out there. There's that innocent kind of love, I would say. Yeah. That's So for me, I would say that's the case. Like the little interactions, even though we're far apart. My friends, And you?
For me, what about your current friends makes you treasure and nurture the relationship even more? It's them understanding me and giving me the grace to grow but still staying beside me has made me really nurture the relationship even more. Because I've been different people at different parts of my life. If you go to me even a year ago, you will get a completely different plan. And my friends have been able to understand me at each and every single path, in each and every single journey, and still stick by me. And even if I was doing wrong, they would tell me, I don't like that, do better. So I really do appreciate that, and I appreciate that, and it makes me want to give back to them even more. And being able to go to my friend's house and walk in and I'm not a stranger. That's a lot of people don't have that. I'm family. To most of my friends, like my inner circle, I'm family. Not even a friend anymore. I'm family. Makes me want to nurture it even more, and knowing that they have my back. I don't know about everybody else's friends, but my friends have my back. And there's sometimes when I've done things that I wasn't proud of to some of my friends, once or twice, because if I do say so myself, I am quite I'm a well-to-do person.
I'll slip up every now and then.
But I slipped up, and I have done things or a thing that I wasn't really proud of, but because of our foundation, we move past that, and we still have a friendship till this day. So those are the things that really make me want to nurture more, give back more. And now that I'm older, and now that I have less time, and now that I'm more busy, and now that I'm trying to establish my life more, when somebody does something as simple as you said, pick up the phone and call me for an hour of their day, they're talking to me, when I know my friends have children, when I know my friends have husbands, when I know my friends have households to look after, and that takes so much time.
That takes time.
I appreciate that so much. I appreciate being able to say, hey, bruh, and then my friend is like, okay, I'll help you out with something. When I know that life is, it's a bit on the expensive side. And that's somebody sacrificing them for me.
Yeah.
So that makes me want to like nurture my friendships even more, more, because I appreciate them so much.
Yeah, that I feel like that to be appreciative of your friendship is to basically saying thank you to God. Say thank you for bringing those people into my life, and that's very important to have that gratitude, not just for what you have, but also the people that you have around you. And we often think that gratitude comes towards what you have, and that's not people, hey? But it is people. It really is people that you have around you.
Because imagine, Fundo, yes, there's some things that you wouldn't be or wouldn't have without the people around you.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about family only. There are some things you honestly wouldn't know, you wouldn't be, you wouldn't have without the people that God placed in your life.
Yeah.
These are your gifts. Like,
yeah.
these are literally your gifts. And then that we take blessings as money all the time.
Yeah.
Like as financial freedom.
Material.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm broken. I'm blessed. When the people around you, it's a different level.
Especially as we get older, like, because it gets to a point where you don't want to make friendships anymore. Like you wait too old for that.
It does.
So for you, have you gotten to that age where you're like, I'm happy with the friends I have. I have no intention of like introducing new people to my small circle, to my small tribe.
I think I have my intimate circle.
Yeah.
My innermost circle, I think I have, because I think there's a difference between acquaintances, people you hang out with, people you meet at work. There's a huge difference, and sometimes we will bundle it all up, because I know when I speak, I just say, oh no, it's my friend. When I'm just talking about the lady that I work with, that I get along with. But in terms of like my intimate circle, I think it's okay as it is right now. If somebody is to come along that I think maybe God put them on my path, then you're welcome. Pull through, grab a seat, sit down, let's have a good time, But for me, moving forward, I think it's more about creating strategic relationships, as I said before, like strategic relationships. It's more like fostering relationships is the way forward for me now, more than friendships, because relationships and treating people decently and having a great rapport with people is what gets you into different rooms. It's what makes people think of you when they see of a business idea, they see a tender, they see a job post or anything like that. It's the relationships that you build with people, and the relationships, and not burning bridges with anybody or cutting off people, even if you're no longer as close friends with somebody. Create a relationship where you still have some sort of rapport with them, so there's no bad feelings or animosity towards one another. But you guys are still good. So for me, with age, it becomes harder. To answer the question, it really does become harder, because the older you grow, the more things you go through, and the more complex you become as a person. And to bring somebody else into that, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So for me, for now, it's just being strategic about the relationships that I have in my life, the ones that I want to create, and then building relationships from there on. And for you, has it become harder with age, or it has? I think it has for me. I'm not really a person who goes out much, so I like the friends I have right now. I always appreciate who they are and what they bring around me, and I'm just happy to see them grow and grow old as friends together. So I wouldn't say I'm not open to like finding new friendships, but I'm not really looking to have like new friends. I'm not really a social person, a socialite. So
as I've seen.
So yeah, I feel like that sort of adds into the person I am in my life. The person I like keeping a small circle. I like keeping a small circle because I like being
intimacy.
Open. Yeah, I like being open with the people around me. So I think that helps if you keep a small circle. Yeah.
And then with that, I want to wrap it up with something. What would you say to let's say 18, 19-year-old you when you walked into varsity? Because I think most of us made friends for life. It's either in high school or varsity.
Yeah.
When you walked in there and you saw this group of people and you needed, because at that time you need friends, you're not going to survive without them. What would you say to yourself now, looking back?
I would say go ahead and do what I did, you know? Because I feel like the whole journey of how I went about making friends in varsity is what made me who I am as a person. Because sometimes, as much as some other friendships don't work out, there's still something that you take there that natures your growth as a person. So
and we discard that so easily.
Yeah, we discard that so easily. Yeah, so I would say just do what I did. Just do what feels right to you, and then you'll be good, King. You'll be good,
King. Okay.
And you?
Okay. For me, I would say you're going to have such an amazing time. You're going to meet such amazing people.
Yeah.
You're going to grow so much just from being around these people. And you're going to meet people that are going to be part of your life for life. And life wouldn't be what it is without them. Yeah. It really wouldn't be. But had the flip side happened, had I made people who maybe put me on a different path, I would say to myself, be very strategic about the people that you let into your life. There's a huge difference with family where you really have no choice. You're given what you're given and you work with that. When it comes to friendships, you can pick and choose who stays into your life, and you always need to prioritize yourself, prioritize your growth, prioritize your values, your morals, and your beliefs. And as soon as you feel like this friendship is putting into jeopardy your relationship with home, your relationship with your school, your relationship with your work, because I know people who skip work because they said, already? So your relationship with work and your relationship with your significant other, then you need to...
It's time to call it off.
It's call it off. You can call it off. You need to call it off. And friends won't put friends in situations that are dangerous, situations where you are now hanging out with, let's say, men, and they want to do things to you just because you guys wanted to go out for free drinks. Friends don't do that to friends. So had it been the flip side, I would say that to myself, that be very strategic. Listen to your heart, listen to your soul, discern. Don't just take anybody and say, hey friend, your friend needs to add value to you and you need to add value to them. So that's what I would say to a little young me. Had it been the flip side, but thank God I had the good side. The good side, yes.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening in. We would love to hear your thoughts about friendships. Hey, what have you learned from the friendships that you have? Do you still keep your childhood friends around? Do you just tell us, let us know, what is it that you love about your friends? And let's continue this conversation over our social media. And
yes sir. Thank you so much for listening to us once again. Thank you so much for reaching the end of our podcast once again. We'd really love to hear your thoughts, your comments. So please share, and subscribe onto our YouTube page. We are available on Spotify. We are available on Anchor. We are available on iTunes. We are on iTunes, right?
Yep.
We are on YouTube, as I said. And what am I forgetting?
Google Podcast.
Google Podcast. We are on Google Podcast, so on all major streaming platforms. So please share this podcast to your friend.
Let them become our friends.
Exactly, you know. And let's keep this conversation moving forward. So until next time, Sfunda.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. Cheers.
Cheers. This was a Not So Quiet Place, the podcast.